Alright, what's going on guys? Gdogg here, and welcome to yet another new series. Now, at this point, you guys might have seen the update video that's already been released, and if so, then it's not too much of a surprise to you, but we're starting a whole bunch of new series, and this one should be the final one. I'm not going that crazy, but that said, Dark Souls 3 is a game that has been out for quite a while, and I think is a fantastic game. You know, it's hard to say, is it the best Dark Souls game? A lot of people say Dark Souls 1 will always be their favorite. Dark Souls 1 is a great game too. When you're playing it on PC, I like Dark Souls 3 better. And that's because it just runs much better on the computer than Dark Souls 1 does. However, you know, given the differences between the games, that some people even really like Dark Souls 2. I actually really like Dark Souls 2 as well. But overall, I tend to think that Dark Souls 3 is my favorite. However, embarrassing admission here, I have never completed one of these games. This is where I'm hoping to change that. We're going to take a look after about 4 episodes or so and see where all the different series are going, and we're going to make some changes after that. But that's all stuff for the update video that you should have already seen. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump in to a new game of Dark Souls 3.
Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, saint of the deep, Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
Okay, so admittedly, I don't understand absolutely everything about what that intro is supposed to be all about. Basically, I think it has something to do with the end of time is coming. The fire needs to be linked the flame, the last flame, needs to be linked, and it hasn't been, and the world is like actually truly almost at an end or something like that. So the Lords of Cinder are coming back to... I don't know if they're trying to make sure that the fire does get linked or if they're trying to stop it from being linked. It's a little confusing. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and call this guy Gdoggcasey, because that's what we're doing. We're starting as the Knight class, which I think might be a little boring. I was originally thinking about doing some sort of build, like just finding a build online and following it. But then I thought, you know what? Screw that. Let's just play the way I like to play. Because I don't want to have to be consulting the build all the time. I'm already doing that for Path of Exile. For this one, I'm just going to sort of go probably with like a quality type build. That's how I'm feeling right now anyway, but we'll see how that goes. The good thing about the quality build is it allows you to sort of change up your playstyle a little better when you're feeling like just doing something different. The Burial Gift, I always go with the Soul, because all of this stuff is pretty useless anyway. Yeah, like none of this stuff is going to give us any lasting effects, so I might as well just get an early level up or something like that. I was thinking about changing around the face. I always tend to go with this one. I don't really know why. So we're going to do that. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I like the burly upper body. Because we're going for a bit of a... Well, obviously we're going to be melee focused. Almost everything in this game is melee focused. Let's see. Is it in the face? Hair? Let's go with hairstyle that's a little bit closer to mine. Doesn't really matter at all that much. The brow color. I have blonde hair, so... my eyebrows are relatively bushy, actually, but they're not that bushy. They're actually more, like, unruly than anything else. Something kind of like this. When I wake up in the morning, man, my eyebrows are like all over the place. So let's go with this one. But I thought I picked a different color for them. Doesn't really seem to make a difference, whatever. And as for beard, this is what I got going on. Although I've been trimming it quite a lot lately. Not really letting it get too unruly. There we go. That seems fine enough. That seems fine. This guy is fine as fuck. Blue eyes. Alright. There. And we'll never see his face again. So don't worry about it. Alright. Final eyes. Can't remember if there's another cutscene or not. I think in Dark Souls 2, it led you into a second cutscene, but I don't think this one does. So I think the volume levels are okay, but we will change them up if it gets a little too loud or something like that. Here I come out of my grave. Wonder how long we've been there for. I guess this is the one I came out of. So the Knight is a really good starting class, probably the best one, because you get the longsword, which has an amazing moveset. It gives you like a tight, whenever you're stuck in a hallway type attack that you can use. And it's got a nice sweeping attack here with a good attack speed, and you can dual wield it for a little bit more damage. Control camera. Regular attack, I've already shown you that I know how to do that. Strong attack, this one too. Wooja! Target. Backstep. And a roll, or I did that in the opposite order. We can come down here. We can dash. Pick up this Soul of a Deserted Corpse. Now, I am... Oh, let me check something. I know the screen's gonna move all wonky. Yeah, okay, this isn't really gonna work, is it? I could do this. Now, I don't think I really want to do this every single time. Yeah, no, it's a little bit harsh on the recording there. Recording is still good, but I'm not gonna do that every single time. But one thing that I am doing, in terms of following a guide, is I want to do my absolute best to actually collect everything in this game. Because Dark Souls, more so than any other game, drives me to explore every single nook and cranny available to you in this game. These guys are easy to take care of if you just run, kill him, block that guy, take him out like that. Boom. I mean, I was going to say for some reason, but the reason is pretty obvious. You guys know what Dark Souls is. Dark Souls is a game with a beautiful world that just really compels you to explore it. At least that's how it works for me. So I want to try to find absolutely everything in the game. And I am not above following a guide, especially if it is incredibly well written. As I walk up on this scary-ass monster here. You guys might be scared of this guy if you are new to the game and just happen to stumble over this way. It's gonna take a little while to kill, but he's actually very easy once you understand his moveset. But yeah, I'm not above following a guide, especially a guide that is incredibly well done and doesn't spoil the story. So that said, hold on, let me, you know what? Well, I was gonna say let me kill this guy, but if I kill him, I'll probably just forget what I was talking about. There is an amazing cheat sheet that some of you may already know about because it comes up when you search for a Dark Souls 3 guide on Google. But I don't see the name right now of the person who wrote it. So I don't want to, I'm not trying to discredit this person. This cheat sheet is amazing. And it just basically shows you every different zone and the different items that are hidden throughout the zone. And it's got apparently every single one of them. With no spoilers. There we go, we got him. Titanite scale, incredibly good upgrade material that we cannot use yet, but we will be able to use it later. Yeah, and it basically is like a sheet with check boxes beside each item, so you can check them off when you got them. So I was gonna see if it would let me like easily like move my mouse over and check off the boxes while I pick things up, but it actually does not. I have to Alt-Tab out of the game, and that just ruins the recording experience a little bit, so I'm not gonna do that. Instead, I'll just do it in between recordings. But I am following this cheat sheet. I will put a link to the sheet in the description below, as long as I remember. If I forget, remind me in the comments, I will add it. And then by the time you're looking there, it's probably there now. And yeah, that's what I'm going to be following, just to make sure I can get every item so that you guys can then see where everything is as well, at least to the best of my ability. I reserve the right to fuck up and potentially maybe ditch something if it's not, if it's like just too incredibly hard to get or something like that. Like I'll try, I'll give everything the good old college try. But yeah, we're just going through the beginning area here. This is absolutely gorgeous. I think that's the high wall of Lothric up there. I think so. I'm not as smart as like Epic Name Bro or some of these other YouTubers who are, you know, dedicated to. There's Firelink Shrine over there. There's the tower. Can you see a shiny up there? Maybe. So I'm not gonna try to pretend that I can explain the ins and outs of every single piece of lore that you guys would want to know about, because I can't. I enjoy watching those guys' videos though, and one thing I'm really excited about is to be able to face Yorm the Giant, because he's got a really cool story, and I've never been able to get that far. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. But first things first. Whoa. Oh, we got it. Okay. Nice. Titanite shard. And there's a guy here. Plunging attack. You have been plunged. So we're just exploring. I've done this area like 1,000 times, so it's pretty much second nature to me. just trying to get used to playing the game again, because it actually has been a little while since I played. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Like, I've got like these 6 games already slotted into my schedule, and I need a 7th. And I was thinking about some games and just trying to figure out like which one should I pick. And then it dawned on me. I was like, you know what? I'm going through my Steam list. Ouch. Going through my Steam list, trying to look at games that I've always wanted to finish, and I saw Dark Souls 3, and I was like, oh, it's a no-brainer. Well, it's not necessarily a no-brainer. The one thing that makes it a bit of a brainer is the fact that it might be too difficult for me to complete, which I refuse to acknowledge that possibility, because I have been playing games for basically my entire friggin' life, and if I can't, like, I understand. Sorry, I'm just looking at the recording. It just did seem to be a little bit framey there. It's working totally fine on my end, but we'll keep an eye on things here. If it turns out that this recording is a little bit too choppy, we'll have to do something about that. But that being said, I don't want it to ruin episode 1 here, as we're coming up on the first boss. But yeah, as I was saying, like, I've been playing games my entire life, and I have to be able to complete a Dark Souls game, so I am not going to let this game defeat me. Instead, I will defeat... Oh shit, you don't want to kick this guy, that doesn't do anything for him. You can get some early hits on him if you swing as he's coming to life. Alright, chill the fuck out, dude. Okay, this guy's really not that difficult, just stay close to him. Most of his attacks go right over your head. You want to build up your stamina, though. Make sure you're able to actually attack him. That was weird. Oh, no. He's dead. It's one thing that I kind of don't like about enemies that do that, as that sound is incredibly loud. You know what? Let's fix some of that. You can see I've already tried to screw with it. I guess that's gonna have to go down too. It should be okay. Should be okay. So we defeat the first boss there, and we get the coiled sword. Thrust it into the shrine bonfire to restore its power and enable travel between bonfires. The sword is only bequeathed to chosen Ash as judged by the Udix, who awaits the arrival of Ash as a scabbard. I'm not going to do that for every single item, unless you guys want. If you guys want, maybe we'll do like some of that, but I'm not trying. Again, I've already said that I'm not really trying to pretend that I'm Epic Name Bro or anyone else, because that's their niche. I just want to play the game. I am interested in the story. We will be listening to the characters' dialogues, but I'm not going to be going that far into it. I want to be able to make progress. Alright, so there we go. Now the sound sounds incredibly quiet. So I guess we have half the video on one sound volume and the other half on this one, and I'll listen to it back and we'll figure it out. Maybe today I will only record one episode so that I can actually go back and watch this entire episode through and just make sure everything's good. Because on my side, everything actually does seem pretty solid. But when I look at OBS from time to time, it's bugging me a little bit. Alright, these guys are dead. So there's a whole bunch of things here. We can go into Firelink Shrine right there. But there's a couple different things that we can do around the entrance to the shrine here. So we're going to do some of that. Oops, that's the wrong way. Yeah, I've already got the item down there. I tend to like to do the left side first, so we'll come over to the left. And once again, I'm screwing up. There we go. You can tell it's been a little while. We're going to have 2 enemies over here on the right side, up above these stairs. Good idea to take care of them now. Come up here and grab this. Embers are always good, especially early on, and especially if you're new to the game and you're not really, you don't feel too confident in your battle capabilities. Having extra embers is always going to be good. Homeward Bone is always good. And I thought we can drop down here. We could drop down, and we will. So we can get this item here. Another ember. And there's a dog. Whoop. It's usually a 50-50 chance for me. When I approach a dog like that, I feel like if I get the first hit in, obviously I'll be able to dispatch him very easily. But sometimes you misjudge your first attack, and it makes it a little more difficult. Okay, so back over to the left side here. We're not quite done. We're almost done. We're not quite done. There's a shield in the tree right here. If you're starting as any other class, this shield might be okay, but the knight just starts off with the best shield and the best melee weapon and the best armor right at the beginning. So, see that dude up here? This is how you deal with him. Lock on, stand here, roll, and there you go. It's as easy as that. Don't try to fight this guy head on. It's just not worth it. Because as we stun locked him there, he will stun lock the shit out of you. Come up here, get your shield out, stand right here, so he jumps in, and then just roll out of the way and just knock him off. I mean, if you want to be a real big man about it, you can go ahead and fight him toe-to-toe. And it is possible to beat him, of course, but you might find that he'll stun lock you more often than you care to admit. So we got him dead, and we can come in here. What I'm going to do is put the coiled sword in here. Rest at it. And then come back out to where we were, where we fought that katana master dude, and we can see his gear is left up at his spawning point. This dude does not respawn. So there we go. We get the Uchi Katana, which is a very good dexterity-based weapon. I was originally planning on using that, actually, but I decided to change my mind. I think we're going to stick with the long sword for now, just because it's just such a versatile weapon, you know? It just does such a good job. So we're probably going to stick with that for now. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of talking to some of the people in this area before we end episode 1.
Welcome to the bonfire, unkindled one. I am a firekeeper. I tend to the flame, and tend to thee. The lords have left their thrones, and must be delivered to them. To this end I am at thy side. Ashen One, to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Sovereignless souls will become thy strength. I will show thee how. Ashen One, bring me souls plucked from their vessels. Ashen One, to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Sovereignless, I'm Ashen.
Okay.
Very well. Then touch the darkness within me. Take nourishment from these sovereignless souls.
So we can do some leveling up here with our souls. I am going to focus first on getting some damage. And my reasoning is because early on, the game is actually pretty easy. Okay, are you talking? Because I'm talking. Okay. Early on, the level, like the first level you go through, is pretty easy. You're not going to take too much damage, or at least I'm not going to, or at least I hope I'm not going to. So might as well use the easy levels on getting some more damage up, and then after that, we'll start to beef up our defenses. Another thing...
Ashen One. May the flames guide thee.
Thank you. Another thing we can do is actually just crack this open. And that's the soul that we started with as well.
The mark of a Tolothric, where the homes of the lords converge.
Okay, I didn't realize she was going to start saying new stuff there, but let's go ahead.
Very well, then touch taken.
Yep. And we're going to move up to some decks now. There we go.
Farewell, Ashen One. May the flame...
Thank you. Alright, we're also going to talk to this dude.
Ah, another one roused from the sleep of death. Well, you're not alone. We unkindled are worthless. Can't even die right. Gives me conniptions. And they'd have us seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we're talking true legends, with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots. Don't you think? What a sick joke. Asking us to seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. We're talking true legends, those who would link the fire. We're not...
You already said that. Sorry. During that dialogue, I was looking at the checklist to make sure that I actually picked everything up. I just want to make sure I have the 5 fire bombs. I do. Okay, good. So yeah, it looks like I picked everything up on this checklist. There's a couple more people around here we can talk to. This dude is one of them.
O thou unkindled, and a seeker of lords. I am Ludleth of Corland. Look not in bewilderment as I say. I linked the fire long ago, becoming the Lord of Cinder. If substantiation be thy want, set thine eyes upon my charred corpse. This sad cadaver. No need to be coy. Have a closer look. Knowest thou of our purpose? 5 thrones will take 5 lords as kindling for the linking of the fire. The fast fading flame must be linked to preserve this world. A reenactment of the first linking of the fire. So it is, I became a Lord of Cinder. I may be but small, but I will die a Colossus. Knowest thou, I may... Now, do not be away over long.
So this guy is one of the first, I think, to ever light the flame. Or maybe he's not one of the first, but he is somebody who has linked the flame. And every time the flame gets linked, to my understanding, it basically resets the world again. And then the world can go on for like another number of generations or whatever. So he's one of them. What was his name again?
Not for I.
Ludleth of Corland.
Now.
This one is for... There's somewhere where you can read. I guess it's on the back of the throne. Aldrich the Deep. Of the Deep. That was the slime dude in the original cutscene. There's Ludleth. Who's going to sit in this one? Holy King Lothric, last hope of his line. So King Lothric needs to sit here. You can see the stone actually has like, it's like imbued with fire a little bit. Maybe just because of sitting there for so long or something. And now the stone has, like, fire. Watchers of the Abyss, you can see their weapons here. It's a nice little touch. I have defeated the Watchers of the Abyss before. Yorm the Giant of the Profaned Capital. This chair is going to be much bigger because he's a giant, of course. There's a lot of interesting detail in this game. And that's why people love it. It's littered with lore. In almost every nook and cranny you look, you'll find something.
A pleasure to make thine acquaintance, Ashen One. I am but a humble handmaid of the shrine. Weapons, armor, trinkets, and spells. I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveler. And yes, I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away. Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me. As is thy wont, no?
Okay.
Ashen One, if my wares are not to thy satisfaction, bring me umbral ash. With ash, I'll fashion new wares. Is it not our sorry fate to sup on death?
So what she means by that is that out in the world, we will find ashes of specific people, and if we bring them back to her, she can sell us their equipment, basically. So we'll be able to get access to a lot more stuff. Right now, she sells a whole bunch of basic stuff. One of the things you might want to pick up is a white sign soapstone. If you ever want to do co-op, it's nice to just pick it up and just have it. Some of these things might be useful, but honestly, not really. She carries 3 embers, so if you find yourself in trouble and you need embers, you can get 3 from her. And again, just like very basic stuff. The chain set is here. Just pretty neat. Yeah.
Ashen One, be sure to bring more souls.
And finally, I think this is the last guy we'll be talking to today.
Well, a newcomer, I see. I am Andre. I serve at this shrine as a humble smith, forging weapons. You're in search of the Lords of Cinder, I trust. A toilsome journey, I'd wager. You'll require good arms. Let me smith you weapons. I am a smith, such is my purpose. Weapons and protection are sturdy enough by and large, but when overused, they'll eventually break. When their durability is low, repair becomes a necessity. Use a powder, or simply rest at a bonfire. But should chance impel them break, bring them me. I'll hammer them back into shape. They take no pleasure in breaking, I assure ye. So handle them with care, if you would. There are 2 ways to smith weapons. Simple reinforcement is one, and infusion the other. Reinforcement is straightforward. It strengthens a weapon without altering its property. Infusion is a more advanced form of smithing that infuses an element. Reinforcement requires titanite, and infusion requires gems. Bring the stones, and I'll do the smithing. It's my purpose, after all. In battle, your weapons are your only friends. Forge them well, and they won't let you down.
Hurrah.
Another matter. Infusing weapons with gems requires a special kind of coal. My humble coals won't be any use infusing more unusual gems. I know, it's an awful shame, but it's all I have. Oh, please don't give me that look. Believe it or not, I'm quite thin-skinned. Oh, by the by, if you find any Estus shards, bring 'em here. They can be used to reinforce either of your Estus flasks. Without those flasks, you'd want for life or focus. And they'll always stay with you. Why not treat 'em well? Huh? Weapons and protect, but they so.
All right, so he gave us some pretty interesting information there, basically about infusing and reinforcing and all that. So we can use a, we need 2 Titanite shards in order to level up basic type weapons, like long swords or like anything I got here. You will get like more specialized weapon types that require twinkling Titanite to level up, and some require even different things as far as I know. You can also infuse it with an element like he was saying, but doing this splits your damage type. So right now I do physical damage, 110. If I put a fire gem in here, I believe it would split my, well, it would give me like 110 fire damage, but then when you hit an enemy, that enemy then has 2 it's confusing, but that enemy will have 2 defenses to lower your damage. One would be their normal physical defense, the other one would be their fire defense. So if somebody is really resistant to fire, your fire weapon's obviously going to do a lot less damage. And if somebody's really resistant to physical, then your fire sword will still do less damage. So it's usually better to just kind of focus on one thing. At least that's my understanding of it. But anyway, what we want to do here is actually allot 4 normal Estus and take away the Ashen Estus, because we're never going to need the Ashen Estus. We have no Estus shard. Pretty be careful. I don't think there's anyone else here. As we find NPCs out in the world, this is where they're going to come to chill. And there will be people sort of scattered throughout the lower half of the shrine here. So yeah. So I think that's going to do it for episode 1. We've explored Firelink Shrine a little bit. There's still more to do here later on. But for now, that should be pretty good. It looks like we did pick up everything in the Cemetery of Ash, which is where we started. So now I'm going to go look at the video. If you guys are watching this, and that means I've deemed it acceptable. However, if it was not great in terms of video quality, like I noticed some stuttering. So I'm going to watch it back, and hopefully it's not overwhelming stuttering. If it's decent enough, I'll leave it and we'll upload it, and I will work to try to fix it a little bit better in the future. Hopefully that'll be possible. If this is unacceptable, then you're not even watching it. And at that point, I'll probably just record a different version of it. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoy. Dark Souls is an amazing franchise, and it is about damn time that I get some of this completed on the channel. Thanks again. Don't forget to hit the like button, and we will see you next time.